which makes reading, holding a book, or turning a page difficult or impossible. The content is copyrighted by the respective publishers. For more information, please visit us on the web at nfradioreading.org.
Welcome to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Your reader for this hour is Patricia. Starting with the Amherst Bee for April 9th. Town seeks applicants for commission to review term limit local law by Bob Krupsik. The Amherst Town Board was seeking applicants for the Town of Amherst Commission on term limits, the town says, in response to a court decision that may impact the effectiveness of the town's 2006 term limit local law. This was announced at the March 23rd meeting, and applicant responses were due by Monday. The town's objective is to ensure that Amherst local laws stand on a rock-solid legal foundation, said Supervisor Sean Lavin. In 2006, the town board established term limits to ensure healthy turnover in our local government. However, recent rulings from the New York State Court of Appeals have changed the legal landscape, making it clear that such limits must be ratified by the voters via referendum to be enforceable. In an email to the board from lawyer Paul Wolf of the New York Coalition for Open Government, he wrote that as an Amherst resident, he is opposed to forming a commission to review the town's term limit law. In my opinion, there is no need for the town board to create a commission to review the existing term limits, wrote Wolf. In an attached memo to the board that cited case law, including Holman versus Clarkson in New York Court of Appeals 2023, Wolf said the Amherst term limit law is valid and enforceable. He wrote that if someone believes otherwise, they can file a lawsuit to challenge the law. He said that, related to Holman versus Clarkson, the town of Amherst is seeking to form a commission to review its term limits law based on the New York Court of Appeals ruling that a term limit law passed by the town board of Clarkson was invalid because a public referendum was not held. According to a release from the town, Amherst plans on assembling a commission of 7 members who will be appointed by town officials. The supervisor, each member of the town board, the town clerk, and highway superintendent will each appoint 1 member to create the 7-member commission, which will review the Court of Appeals decision and whether it impacts the town's local law on term limits. If the commission determines that the decision impacted the town's local law, the commission will be asked to discuss options for moving forward and make recommendations to the board based on its review. Wolf said the current 8-year term limit has been in place since 2007, and every candidate who has run for town board did so knowing this limit existed. In an attached memo to the board, Wolf said the law specifically states, "No elective public officer of the town of Amherst shall have more than 2 consecutive terms of 4 years each in the same public office. For purposes of this chapter, some public office shall mean any and all public offices that are the same as the office that the elective public officer last held. Any terms of office held prior to the November 6, 2007 general election shall not be counted for term limitation purposes." Wolf said his concern in forming a commission at this time may be an attempt to open the door to eliminating or extending the 8-year limit. I respectfully urge the town board to preserve the existing term limits and to avoid taking steps that could weaken or undermine them. Establishing an independent 7-member commission is the most appropriate and responsible path forward, said Lavin. It brings together a diverse group of residents to review our existing code in light of these updated statewide legal standards. We aren't just looking to fix a technicality. We are ensuring that any rules governing how long an official can serve are legally sound and ultimately decided by the people of Amherst at the ballot box. This is about protecting the integrity of our town's governance for years to come. Letters to the editor in the Amherst Bee for April 9th. Fraudulent voting minuscule, not illegal aliens. This is in response to the Be Heard caller claiming that Democrats are not allowing the SAVE Act to proceed because they cheat on elections. I will preface this correspondence that I am not a Republican or a Democrat. I am an independent. When I vote, I research each candidate and I vote for who I feel will do the better job. The SAVE Act is a poll tax. The 24th Amendment to the United States Constitution prohibits both federal and state governments from imposing poll taxes. It ensures that the right to vote cannot be denied due to failure to pay a tax. Not everyone has a passport, and it costs close to $200 to get one. If a person lost their birth certificate, they would have to order a new one. All this information is in the system, but it will have to be re-verified. Out of the 30 largest rural counties, a person would need to drive an average of 4.5 hours, that's 260 miles round trip, to get to an election office to renew their voter registration. Even if you have voted for decades, you would be required to re-register to vote with all the documentation required in person. There are 623,358 voters in Erie County alone, with 52.8% of those voters women. Does anyone believe that any of the election offices will be ready to handle the influx of people to renew their voter registration? There are 189.5 million registered voters in the United States. The amount of fraudulent voting is so minuscule, and it is not illegal aliens. It involved people who did not know if they were allowed to vote. In Georgia, 2020, a convicted felon submitted a ballot that was delivered to the wrong house. This one fraudulent vote was out of 9 million. Signed Barbara Burgett, Old Spring Lane, Williamsville. And from the Amherst Supervisors column, Amherst to propose a bed tax. Last month, 48 hockey teams traveled to Amherst for the Chipotle USA National Championship for girls, 14U, 16U, and 19U, including teams arriving from as far away as Alaska, Texas, North Dakota, and Florida. That single event generated nearly 3,900 hotel room bookings and brought hundreds of visitors to our community. Families explored our neighborhoods, dined in our restaurants, and experienced firsthand what makes the town of Amherst a destination worth visiting. What many don't see is the work behind the scenes that makes events like this possible. Police officers manage traffic, highway crews maintain our roads, and facilities staff ensure the Northtowns Center operates seamlessly. These essential services require significant resources, and as Amherst continues to attract more large-scale events, those costs will only grow. This is exactly why the town is proposing a bed tax similar to what was recently implemented in Buffalo and Cheektowaga. The concept is simple. Visitors who benefit from our infrastructure should help support it. Amherst doesn't attract tourism by mistake. It is the result of years of investments by residents, business owners, and public servants who have built a community people want to visit. The Northtowns Center has become a premier hockey destination, with the Chipotle tournament just one example of the high-profile events drawing teams from across the country. Beyond sports, the University at Buffalo brings students and families from around the nation and around the world. These attractions reflect a broader vision for Amherst, one shaped by deliberate, sustained investment in our facilities and infrastructure. The reality is straightforward when out-of-town guests fill our hotel rooms. They rely on services and facilities that cost money to provide and maintain. A bed tax ensures that those who benefit from Amherst's amenities contribute to their upkeep. A bed tax would provide funding for much-needed capital improvements at the Northtowns Center and the enhancements to our girls' softball facilities. This kind of reinvestment in key assets would contribute to making Amherst even more competitive for regional and national events. Better facilities attract more tournaments, more visitors, and more economic activity for our local businesses. It's a virtuous cycle that strengthens the entire community. A bed tax is not about burdening visitors. It's about fairness and responsible stewardship. Guests pay a modest fee during their stay, and in return, we continue to invest in the very qualities that brought them here in the first place. By improving our facilities and enhancing the visitor experience, we can attract more events, support our small businesses, and ensure Amherst remains a thriving destination for years to come. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:10. Turning to the Clarence Bee for April 9th. Traveling Museum teaches Clarence students about tolerance and nonviolence. Students at Clarence Middle School explored lessons on the civil rights movement, nonviolent protest, and acceptance during a recent visit from a traveling educational exhibit. The Mobile Museum of Tolerance visited the school March 31st and April 1st, bringing interactive technology-based lessons designed to engage students in discussions about history and social responsibility. The program, which has visited dozens of schools in Western New York at no cost over the past 2 years, provides age-appropriate lessons about tolerance and history. The Mobile Museum uses multimedia presentations, interactive exhibits, and guided discussions to immerse students in key moments of the civil rights movement. Through these lessons, students explored the role of nonviolent protest in advancing social change and examined the impact of historical figures and events on modern society. The program also emphasized broader themes of empathy, respect, and acceptance of others, encouraging students to reflect on their own roles in creating inclusive communities. This is the second time the Mobile Museum has visited the district. Clarence Middle School students were the first in the Western New York region to visit the Mobile Museum when it debuted locally in November 2024. The Civil Rights Movement is part of New York State's social studies framework for grades K through 8, and the visit aligns with curriculum standards that encourage students to understand historical movements and their lasting impact. The Mobile Museum of Tolerance travels to schools across Western New York and throughout the country using innovative technology to deliver immersive educational experiences aimed at promoting inclusivity and understanding among students. By bringing these lessons directly into schools, the program seeks to make history more accessible and engaging while fostering dialogue among students. Continuing with the Clarence Bee under local news for April 9th. Clarence Highway Superintendent named to Transportation Advisory Panel. Town of Clarence Highway Superintendent James A. Dussing has accepted an appointment to become a member of the New York State Local Technical Assistance Program Advisory Panel. Operated by the Cornell University Local Roads Program, the panel provides training, technical assistance, and information to municipal agencies responsible for the maintenance and construction and management of local highways and bridges in New York State. Our town highway department crews perform important work every day, Dussing said. This appointment is a reflection of their unwavering dedication, which benefits residents and taxpayers 24/7, 365. Since October 2025, Dussing has been president of the New York State Association of Town Superintendents of Highways. He was elected Town Highway Superintendent in 2013. New York State LTAP provides unbiased, timely, and exceptional technical assistance and training to highway and public works departments across New York State to help improve the quality and safety of roads and streets. It supports local communities through strong collaborations with partners that enhance the sustainability of local highway assets. Other local news: Clarence Global Methodist Church to host rummage sale. Clarence Global Methodist Church will host a rummage sale later this month to raise money for student programs, church officials announced. The sale is scheduled from 9 a.m. to noon on Monday, April 20th, 10205 Griner Road, across from Clarence Middle School. All proceeds will support summer camp and mission trip scholarships for area students. Items available will include antiques, collectibles, books, kitchenware, glassware, jewelry, holiday decorations, and children's toys and puzzles. Clothing and electronics will not be accepted. Most items will be offered on a free will donation basis with a separate table of specially priced items. Whether you're a garage sale enthusiast or a serious collector, the sale should offer something for everyone and promises to be a notable kickoff to yard sale season in Western New York, said Mark Parsons, co-chair of the event. Donations for the sale will be accepted for the church at the church through April 16th. For more information, contact the church at 716-759-8921. From the Town of Clarence Supervisors column for the Clarence Bee for April 9th, a look at Clarence's priorities. With the ease of purchase and growing popularity of battery-powered motorcycles and electric bikes, we have seen a concerning increase in high-speed activity on our trails and in our parks. Too often, riders are traveling at excessive speeds past pedestrians with little regard to others. In some cases, there have been verbal threats and even physical confrontations. With simple modifications, many e-bikes can reach speeds of over 50 miles per hour. While this issue is not unique to Clarence, we made the decision, with input from local law enforcement, to act quickly and proactively. Last year, Clarence became the first municipality in Western New York to pass a progressive local law addressing this issue. This law provides law enforcement, especially when dealing with minors, with more options when encountering unauthorized motorized equipment on bike paths, sidewalks, and in our parks. It allows for the confiscation of electric bikes when rules are violated or when reckless operation occurs. In addition to young riders, e-bikes have also become popular among adults who may have lost their driving privileges. Many are operating on public roads without protective gear and often without proper lighting, attempting to avoid attention. Several states have already implemented regulations requiring insurance, licensing, and minimum age requirements for e-bike operation. We are hopeful New York State will follow suit in the near future. It is important to note that dirt bikes of any kind are strictly prohibited on our bike paths. Just last month, the Erie County Sheriff's Office impounded a gas-powered bike operating illegally on one of our trails. Moving forward, the Sheriff's Office and state troopers will be actively patrolling to ensure our trails remain safe. If you violate the law and put others at risk, your vehicle will be confiscated. Sadly, last year, our community experienced a tragic loss when a Clarence youth lost his life in a low-speed e-bike crash while not wearing protective equipment. Another young person was seriously injured in a bicycle accident without a helmet. In response, the town is currently reviewing potential amendments to our local law that would require helmet use on our bike trails. On a more positive note, our Youth Bureau recently hosted another successful Easter egg hunt at Clarence Town Park. With over 300 children and families in attendance, it was a wonderful community event. Thanks to the great weather, the eggs were found quickly and all children received candy and prizes. A special thank you to the Clarence Fire Company for escorting the Easter Bunny, as well as to the Clarence Rotary Club, Fidelis Carey, Paula's Donuts, and Tim Hortons for their generous contributions. I would also like to recognize Youth Bureau Director Dawn Kinney and Assistant Director Jessica Rung for organizing another outstanding event. Our Parks Department, led by Superintendent Jason Holden, has remained active throughout the winter, supporting events at the clubhouse and nature center. As we move into spring, they are hard at work preparing our fields and facilities for what will be another busy season. Our Highway Department also completed a demanding winter season, once again ensuring our roads remain safe and passable despite challenging conditions. While many municipalities struggled with staffing and salt supplies, Highway Superintendent James Dussing and his team consistently delivered. Their dedication does not go unnoticed. The Highway Department will be conducting a town-wide brush pickup next week, which will also serve as the first round of their monthly brush collection program. As always, thank you for your continued support in helping keep Clarence a safe and vibrant community. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:20. Turning to the Cheektowaga Bee for April 9th. Cheektowaga Public Works Audit Highlights Potential Cost and Oversight Issues by Michael Pulse. A citizen-led audit by local resident and Republican Committee Chair Dawn Filipski identified what she described as cost overruns, bid irregularities, and oversight issues in a public works contract awarded to CMH Company Incorporated in 2024. The audit examined equipment operator and labor services for various highway and sewer projects. The original low bid under contract number 24-380 totaled $2,074,400. However, the town paid approximately $2,560,577 based on the invoices received, an overrun of roughly $486,000, with 13 additional invoices still missing and awaiting review. Filipski's audit also examined the 2023 contract extension, contract number 23-10, along with the 2024 contract covering the overall period from May 28, 2024 to March 24, 2025. Key findings include bid document alterations. The winning bid from CMH contains several items where prices had been whited out and replaced. 5 of those altered items were not needed, and the 2 that were utilized cost less than $358 combined, according to Filipski. Problems with invoices. According to Filipski, of 75 invoices in the main contract period, many lacked proper signatures or were approved by the wrong department. She also said the highway superintendent signed numerous invoices that belonged to the sewer department, while the sewer department approved none. Overbilling on equipment. The audit identified more than $3,782.59 in potential overpayments, mainly from billing equipment trucks at overtime rates when the contract requires straight time, and reimbursing repairs on a rented asphalt roller. Filipski recommends the town seek a refund. Scope and efficiency issues. Work outside the original scope was performed, including a town park pickleball court, pump station wet well rehabilitation, and sump pump installations. Town Supervisor Brian Nowak addressed several concerns raised in the audit. He noted that oversight of the contract work falls primarily under the engineering department rather than the sewer department, which focuses more on sewer cleaning and maintenance. On the cost overrun and added work, Nowak explained that additional tasks were taken on during the year due to emergencies and unforeseen issues that the contract allowed. He attributed some incomplete projects to factors such as bad weather, staffing issues, permitting delays, including work on Harlan Road, and the fact that the town started later than usual in 2024 because the board could not reach consensus on funding until early April. Regarding the alleged equipment overpayments, Nowak said he has not yet received full clarification, but plans to discuss the matter with Town Comptroller Dennis Dombrowski. He noted that there are instances where contractors have provided credits to the town and described it as a two-way street. When asked about the 7 prices that were whited out and replaced on the winning bid, Nowak said his take on the situation is that any adjustments were made before the bid was submitted to the clerk's office and went through the proper approval process. From his experience, bids are submitted openly and publicly in front of witnesses and revealed to the public. Nowak described the citizen audit as positive overall, stating it is good that residents are reviewing town spending, but added that some points in the audit have easy answers, some are inaccurate, and others reflect things that are not fully understood. Filipski offered several recommendations to address the issues identified in her audit. She urged the town board to follow the existing purchasing policy by requiring a minimum of 3 bids for public work contracts. She also suggested publishing all bid documents on the town website. Filipski also recommended replacing the current system of requiring bidders to pick up physical bid packets at Town Hall with a fully online process, which she said would save staff time and resources. Filipski also proposed that contracted crews work hours more closely align with those of town employees to help reduce unnecessary supervisor overtime for timesheet approvals. She further recommended breaking projects into smaller separate bids and establishing a timeline and providing additional training opportunities for town employees to help reduce the need for outside contractors. Continuing with the Cheektowaga Bee for April 9th, under the Bee Heard column, you can call 716-632-0390 and express your opinion. The first item. Wow, Saturday night was a doozy of a night in Cheektowaga. We got a group of 6, 7, 8 kids running around cutting vent pipes by the Sam's Club, carbon monoxide, people getting sick, terrorizing people in a store, ripping stuff off, and then they're going to a fitness place and throwing cinder blocks off the roof. And the cops catch them, let them go, catch them, let them go, catch them, let them go. What the heck? The people that are sick from carbon monoxide, they could die. I mean, come on, get some courage and start pressing charges on these kids. That's like attempted murder or something. I mean, how do these kids' parents, what the heck, do something about your damn kid? They're going to kill someone. They're 15, 16, 17 years old, terrorizing people, and you could have had a store full of dead people. The carbon monoxide was so darn high. I mean, we have to get a district attorney that's got some guts to go after these people, these kids like this, because they're not going to learn. And the next item. During the Biden administration's term, there was a COVID VA home loan forbearance program to help veterans to skip a few payments and tax them at the end of the loan temporarily. Well, there are many veterans with special needs and could not make their back payments, so the government threatened to take away their home. The Trump administration promised a brand new program to help these veterans in the forbearance program. Instead, recently, he canceled the whole program, and now 10,000 veterans are being evicted from their homes, some as early as April 3rd, many with disabilities from service. What a disgrace. Yet there's billions of dollars for a ballroom and war in Iran. Another broken promise, one of Donald Trump's many. And continuing with the Cheektowaga Bee, Mount Calvary Cemetery plans annual cleanup day. Volunteers are encouraged to sign up for Mount Calvary's Cemetery's annual cleanup day, which will be held from 10 a.m. to noon Saturday, April 25th, in a section of the cemetery known as the Historic United German and French Cemetery, 521 Pine Heritage Boulevard, Cheektowaga. Volunteers will help pick up litter, remove branches and debris, and perform light gardening. These efforts support the Mount Calvary Heritage Foundation as it prepares for upcoming programs, including tours of the grounds in partnership with Explore Buffalo. All volunteers will receive a complimentary short historical tour immediately following the cleanup. This event is part of the New York State Department of State Divisions of Cemeteries Caring for Your Cemetery Day, which aims to connect cemeteries with volunteers, both groups and individuals, to assist with cleanup efforts and help prepare cemeteries across New York State for the spring season. For more information, call 716-248-1302 or email Megan, that's MEGAN, at mountcalvarycemetery.com. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:30, and we'll start with the Lancaster Depew Bee, the combined publication for April 9th. Longtime LVAC president retires after 17 years leading organization. Lancaster Volunteer Ambulance Corporate President Chester Propielski has left his leadership position effective at the end of March following a 42-year career with the organization. I feel that the board is in a good place right now, Popielkowski said. I'm 74 years old, and for me it's time to settle down. After seeing a friend and former LVAC member, the late Larry Pohl, volunteering as an EMT in 1984, Popielkowski's interest was piqued. And 42 years later, Popielkowski says he has felt the rewards of his choice every single day. It's about being able to assist people on what I would term as their worst moments when they really need help. Whether it's cardiac arrest or you're doing CPR, or whether it's just someone who you have to hold their hand for a little while because they need some comforting, he said. It's a whole spectrum of things that you deal with in EMS, and that's basically the reason I've been doing it this whole time. Discussing changes to the industry, Popielkowski said that various technologies have helped change the landscape, like the Lucas device, an apparatus that can perform continuous chest compressions on a patient en route to the hospital. It's actually increased the amount of saves that we've had, he said. Despite advancements in technology, Popielkowski said that the best tool is having many people in the general public be aware of life-saving procedures. Popielkowski has taken pride in LVAC CPR classes administered to both adults and children in the community, citing 2 incidents in recent years where students were able to help someone in distress using what they learned from EMT professionals. In one of the cases, a Lancaster High School student was able to resuscitate his stepfather suffering a medical episode. He attributed the abilities that he had to the classes that we taught, Popielkowski said. That kind of makes you say that this is all worth it. Popielkowski said that he intends to keep busy, which is not surprising to most. In addition to his career as an EMT provider, Popielkowski is a trained sound designer and composer for theatrical productions, and he worked with TOPS as a field supervisor until the 1990s. In addition, he will still help oversee LVAC CPR courses while working with the Critical Incident Stress Management, CISM, team, which helps EMT workers process tough calls. State Senator Patrick Gallivan made time to honor Popielkowski's service to LVAC and the community. I am proud to present Chester with a New York State Senate Commendation Award for his many years of service to LVAC, Gallivan said. His leadership and dedication to helping others has made our community stronger. In whatever capacity, even as a responder and provider, I'm going to tell you I've worked with the best people in the EMS field, Popielkowski concluded. I've enjoyed working with each and every one of them. LVAC is like a family, and I feel very close to them. I've got 2 families. I've got my wife, kids, and grandkids, and I've got LVAC. Popiakowski said he looks forward to spending time with his wife Margaret, 2 adult children, Joe and Amanda, and his 5 grandkids. Continuing with the Lancaster Depew Bee for April 9th. Lots happening in the town of Lancaster by Robert Leary, Town of Lancaster Supervisor. Hopefully, we have come to the end of our extremely long winter and start getting ready for a terrific spring and summer. We've all earned it. For this month's article, I wanted to highlight some of the things that will be happening in our Recreation and Parks Department. Over at Lancaster Recreation, they are in the final stages of getting the summer brochure ready for 2026. Be on the lookout. These will be available throughout the town in mid-May. As we present the lineup of activities for these days of warmth, this year's theme is Recreation for Life. We will be offering programs you can use from your youth through your golden years, from teaching your children to swim to golf and tennis lessons and pickleball leagues. We've got you covered. Add in our Wednesday summer concert series for all to enjoy, and you have a part of your summer of 2026 already booked. In addition to our regular and new recreation programs, we will be adding new bleachers and a storage building with a press box at the Walden Pond Sports Complex. The bleachers will hold approximately 503 people and will be replacing the current very old wooden bleachers. The storage building and press box will be a 40 by 20 metal building and will be used to store equipment and materials, as well as being open for use for our sports team and the town as needed. With the addition of the turf fields, there have been a great number of requests to utilize the turf complex that was opened in 2025. Currently, Lancaster Little League Football is running a new girls flag football program, and the Lancaster Depew Ponytails now have the ability, with the addition of the new turf, to host even more tournaments than in the past. The Ponytails tournaments include a major tournament in July, which will showcase our local girls and visiting teams for college recruiters. In Westwood Park, our baseball diamonds will be in even better shape with the purchase of some state-of-the-art field prep equipment. We are also looking to add a truly fun splash pad for our kids, and we'll be replacing the older turf field with a new field donated by A-Turf. We are hoping to have this installed by the fall of 2026. These are just some of the new things happening in the spring and summer in the Parks and Recreation Department, and there are more enhancements on the way. So let's forget about the cold, and I hope we can all look forward to a perfect spring and summer as we all get out there and exercise our minds and bodies in the programs, sports, and facilities offered by our very own Lancaster Parks and Recreation Department. Recreation for Life isn't just a motto. For more information, contact the Recreation Department at 716-684-3320. Continuing with the Lancaster Depew Bee for April 9th, Census Bureau to test new data collection methods with USPS. The U.S. Census Bureau will test new ways of collecting population data in 2026, including a first-time partnership with postal workers as part of preparations for the 2030 National Census. The pilot program will take place in 2 southern cities and involve about 154,600 households. Officials say the goal is to improve efficiency, reduce costs, and refine in-person data collection methods before the next full census. Beginning May 1st, selected households will be invited to complete the survey online using a computer, smartphone, or tablet. The test will be conducted in English only, and responses by phone or mail will not be accepted. The questionnaire mirrors the American Community Survey, asking for detailed information such as name, race, sex, citizenship, education, and housing. Officials estimate it will take about 40 minutes to complete. Households that do not respond online may receive visits from census workers between June 1st and August 31st. This follow-up process, known as in-field enumeration, is a key focus of the test. A major feature of the pilot is a collaboration with the U.S. Postal Service. The Census Bureau will evaluate other postal workers to help collect responses from households that do not initially participate. In one test site, postal employees will be temporarily hired by the Census Bureau and work outside their regular mail delivery hours. In the other, postal carriers will gather census information as part of their normal routes. In both cases, participating workers will undergo background checks and training and will be sworn to protect the confidentiality of responses under federal law. Officials say the partnership builds on the Postal Service's familiarity with local communities and could help reduce the number of repeat visits needed to collect data. The test will also examine ways to streamline staffing, improve training, and modernize field operations. Reducing the number of in-person visits could lower overall costs and make the census more efficient, according to the agency. Census officials emphasize that all the responses are confidential and used only for statistical purposes. Findings from the 2026 test will help determine whether these approaches can be expanded nationwide for the 2030 census. Continuing with the Lancaster Depew Bee for April 9th, Bank of America to close Alma office. Bank of America will close its Alma Operations Center on June 24th, affecting 170 to 252 employees. The closure of the center, located at 611 Jameson Road, is reportedly due to an expiring lease. Affected staff have been offered relocation opportunities within the company or severance packages. The facility's closure is partly due to the property owner, Alma-based aerospace manufacturer Moog International Incorporated, planning to expand into the office complex area. Last year, it formally unveiled a 13,000 square foot operations training center nearby on Jameson Road. Bank of America employs roughly 550 people in the Buffalo-Niagara region. As of early 2026, Bank of America maintains a reduced presence in Western New York, with approximately 18 local branches. While there are fewer branches, the bank continues to operate financial centers and multiple ATM locations across the area. Buffalo-Niagara is an important market, and we will continue to invest in the region, the bank said in a statement. Our commitment to Buffalo-Niagara remains strong, and in the last 10 years, we've invested $26 million in our footprint in the market, with plans to invest an additional $4 million in our financial center network alone over the next couple years. Tops adds SNAP EBT payment option for grocery delivery through DoorDash. Tops Friendly Markets is expanding access to affordable groceries by allowing customers to use SNAP/EBT benefits for online orders through delivery service DoorDash. SNAP users can shop a range of qualifying items, including fresh produce, dairy products, meat, and pantry staples, directly through the DoorDash platform. Payments for eligible items can be made using an EBT card at checkout, while non-eligible items, along with taxes, fees, and tips, must be paid using another form of payment. Officials said the initiative is intended to improve food access across the communities Tops serves, particularly for families facing barriers to transportation or time constraints. Continuing with the Lancaster Depew Bee for April 9th. 3 former Buffalo Bills to be honored at Pro Football Hall of Fame Awards of Excellence. The Pro Football Hall of Fame will honor 3 former Buffalo Bills contributors as part of its 2026 Awards of Excellence program, which recognizes contributors including assistant coaches, athletic trainers, equipment managers, film and video directors, and public relations staff. Former Bills head athletic trainer Ed Abramsky Assistant coach Ted Cottrell and Vice President of Communications Scott Berchtold are among those elected for a recognition. The class of 2026 will be honored June 24th to the 25th. Abramsky served as Buffalo's head athletic trainer for 36 seasons, beginning with the franchise's inaugural year in 1960. He was inducted into the National Athletic Trainers Association Hall of Fame in 1986 and later earned a place on the Bills Wall of Fame. He also received the Buffalo Bills Alumni Association Appreciation Award in 1990 and 1994 and was inducted into the Greater Buffalo Sports Hall of Fame in 1996. Abramsky played an integral role in ensuring the team's health through their league record 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, said the Hall of Fame. A native of Erie, Pennsylvania, Abramsky began his career at the University of Detroit, where he became the youngest Division I head athletic trainer in the country. He later worked with the Detroit Lions and at the United States Military Academy before joining Buffalo in 1959. Cottrell began his NFL coaching career in 1981 and had 2 stints with Buffalo. He served as defensive line coach in 1986 to 1989, helping the team reach the playoffs and win division titles in 1988 and 1989. He returned in 1995 as linebackers coach and was promoted to defensive coordinator for the 1998 and 99 seasons. During his tenure, the Bills made multiple playoff appearances, including a return to the postseason after a 6-10 season in 1997. In 24 NFL seasons spanning 6 franchises, Cottrell became the innovator of the 3-4 defense. The county of the Hall of Fame said, over 10 years as a defensive line coach, linebackers coach, and defensive coordinator, Cottrell mentored multiple Hall of Famers, including Bruce Smith, whom Cottrell presented at his enshrinement in 2009. Smith credited Cottrell with shaping his career, saying the coach was the one that helped me become a complete player. Berchtold's NFL career spanned 5 decades. He served as Buffalo's vice president of communications and later a senior vice president for 23 years, but was with the Bills organization in various roles for 34 years, beginning in 1989. He originally joined the Bills as the manager of media relations. Before coming to Buffalo, Berchtold began for the Green Bay Packers from 1985 to 89 as the assistant director of public relations. During his career, he worked 32 Super Bowls, 4 with Buffalo and 28 on the NFL staff. For 12 of those years, Berchtold was elected as a PR captain by the NFL and directed the PR media operation for those games. You are listening to Around Our Area on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. The time is 2:50, and we'll turn to the Kenton Bee for April 9th. Wafang deal sparks job growth at former Sumitomo plant. Nearly a year and a half after the permanent closure of the Sumitomo Rubber USA manufacturing plant, which left more than 1,500 workers without jobs, Wafang Rubber, a Taiwan-based manufacturer, purchased the plant, announcing the closure of the sale on Wednesday, April 1st. The property, which is officially known as HF Industrial Park, is set to host a dynamic blend of local, national, and international companies, revitalizing a long-established and significant regional industrial site. The new owners will utilize part of the space and lease the rest. Planned tenants will primarily focus on automotive-related manufacturing, including rubber products, wheel components, transmissions, chassis, and other parts. We are happy to see the former Sumitomo plant officially transferred to new ownership less than 18 months after they ceased operations. We are very grateful to the ownership of Sumitomo, working so diligently to expedite the sale of the property, and we look forward to working with Wafang as they ramp up to begin operations later this year. The Sumitomo plant officially shut down in November 2024, marking one of the largest industrial job losses in the town's recent history. Eminger said Wafang's arrival represents a significant step towards restoring manufacturing activity at the site. Wafang originally announced their intent in October 2025 to purchase the former Sumitomo Rubber USA plant, a nearly 2 million square foot facility situated across 128 acres, with the sale closing last week. In a statement, the Wafang representative said the company views this as a natural evolution for the former Sumitomo Rubber USA plant location and believes this property can successfully transform into a future hub of manufacturing activity and innovation that will contribute to both the Western New York and New York State economies. The new owners expect to create an initial 100 to 250 local jobs at the site, with hopes for additional substantial job creation from future operators. Interested tenants can find information at hftonawanda.com. Eminger also credited Sumitomo for its approach to the property transition, noting that the company worked to attract another industrial user rather than leaving the site idle. He contrasted the effort with the long-vacant Huntley Power Plant, which closed a decade ago, and the town is closing in on its eminent domain proceedings. With hundreds of jobs set to return, not only for town of Tonawanda residents, but across Erie County, the redevelopment of the Wafang property into a multi-use industrial park is poised to spark a renewed era of manufacturing in the town. The transition marks an important step in restoring productive use of the site and advancing broader efforts to support sustainable economic growth within the town of Tonawanda and Erie County. Some news briefs and letters to the editor in the Kenton Bee for April 9th. Letter to the editor. Town goes the extra mile. Not being a native of town of Tonawanda, but living here for 30 years, I wonder how many residents appreciate the extra mile that the town's highway department goes to keep the town looking so good. Case in point, I have a large corner lot with many large trees. Last fall, I missed the final leaf cleanup, so there was a pile of leaves in front and on the side of my house that remained all winter. The company that does my spring cleanup agreed to take care of the problem. However, to my surprise, Dave Brossart, one of the department's foremen, had his crew take care of the leftover leaves at my home and across the town. What a wonderful service. My thanks to Dave, his crew, and the department for their thoughtfulness. I love living in the town. This is from Barbara Tucker, Delaware Road, town of Tonawanda. The news briefs. A hands-on plumbing and home maintenance class hosted by Dave Clark will take place from 6:30 to 9 p.m. Tuesday, April 28th at the Milton J. Bronzosidal, American Legion Post number 205, 3354, Delaware Road, Kenmore. The class will teach participants how to do basic residential plumbing repairs on faucets, drains, piping, drain cleaning products, and more solutions, and how to work around problems that may occur, along with general home repair. The class is $50 per person, cash and check only. Registration must be done in advance by calling 716-875-4901 or 716-873-4467. This class is for ages 18 and older. Bring a pen and paper to take notes. The Lions Club of Kenmore is accepting applications for the Donald A. Kosa PE Scholarship. High school graduating seniors who are residents of Kenmore or the town of Tonawanda or attending high schools located in the town of Tonawanda may apply for this $1,000 per year for 4 years award. Recipients must be enrolled in a 2-year or 4-year accredited college or educational program. The requirements for this award are a letter of recommendation from a teacher or guidance counselor of the student's school, accompanied by an essay, 500 or to 1,000 words, entitled My Appreciation for the Teaching Profession. Letters and essays must be received no later than April 1st. Materials can be sent to Kenmore Lions Scholarship Committee, P.O. Box 663, Kenmore, New York. Continuing with the Kenton Bee for April 9th, KVIS seeks Bloom Scouts for 2026 Kenmore in Bloom. The Kenmore Village Improvement Society is inviting volunteers to sign up as Bloom Scouts for the 2026 Kenmore in Bloom program, taking place from June 20th through July 19th. Kenmore in Bloom celebrates residents and business owners who help make the village a welcoming and beautiful place through well-tended gardens, front yards, and storefronts. Each summer, approximately 40 Bloom Scouts visit more than 6,000 locations throughout Kenmore to identify standout properties and select properties to receive a Bloom Award. Selected properties are recognized with a lawn sign highlighting the care and pride that contribute to the character of the community. 13 gardens are awarded the Garden of Distinction Bloom, and 3 additional locations received the People's Choice Bloom, a community-voted honor. Beyond recognition, Kenmore in Bloom encourages residents to spend time outdoors, connected with neighbors, and share in the experience of gardening. The program helps foster a sense of pride, connection, and community throughout the village. All Bloom Scouts volunteers must attend a required in-person training session from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on June 16th at KVIS Meeting Space 7 Warren Avenue in Kenmore. All training materials are provided. Residents are encouraged to sign up with a friend or family member, but all participants must attend the training session. Those interested in becoming a Bloom Scout may sign up through the KVIS website at www.villageofkenmore.com/KenmoreInBloomHTML. The KVIS is a group of volunteers celebrating 18 years of serving in the community. Membership in the KVIS is free and open to all people living anywhere who care about Kenmore. You've been listening to Around Our Area, a weekly look at community newspapers from around Western New York. Stay tuned for our second hour. Your reader for this hour has been Patricia. Thank you for listening.
Coming up next in the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, we have a reading of our Southtowns papers, including Orchard Park, Hamburg, East Aurora, and West Seneca's B papers or Sons. At 3 o'clock, we have the Ample Eagle, and at 4 o'clock, we have the Grand Island Niagara County Tribune Sentinel. Stay tuned for these readings and more throughout the day, and contact us if you have comments, suggestions, or questions. You're listening to the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service. Volunteer radio readers broadcast daily readings 24 hours a day of newspapers, magazines, books, and other printed matter to area people who are blind or have a print disability, who are provided reading radios. The Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service has broadcast almost 40 years of radio readings to those without sight. Our broadcast signal is provided at no charge by WNED. Radio Reading Studios are at 1199 Harlem Road in Cheektowaga. For more information on the Niagara Frontier Radio Reading Service, call 716-821-5555. The following program is intended for listeners who are blind, have low vision, or have another print disability